Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Open Division broadcasted to you by Broadcast.gg. I am Boopasaurus here with my wonderful partner, HamTornado.
Hello.
How are you doing?
Doing good, Boop. This is a great way to start off your very, very early morning.
So it is 5 in the morning, and we are stoked for some Overwatch games today. And today we have an amazing game. We have a Birb Bois, who is 9-1, and Augmented Authority, who are also 9-1. So the big thing now is that we are in the playoffs. So there are 16 teams left, 9 rounds of play, a loser's bracket, a winner's bracket, and eventually an invite to Contenders Trials. So we're going to talk a little bit about the teams right now, and there's a big thing with Augmented Authority is Wayfast, who's been a starter throughout the entire Open Division so far, is not available for Augmented Authority. So for my wonderful analyst here, when you have a player that has been that impactful in the past and then cannot play, arguably when it counts the most, what kind of things are they feeling right now?
A lot of palm sweaty, mom spaghetti, because, Wayfast has been one of the pivotal members of Augmented Authority for anybody who has been following the T3 scene. And, losing it's a team game, right? And you have 6 players and you lose one of them, that's like, right? And that's like a lot. So, I think hopefully we'll be able to see a little bit of flexibility from this team coming in now that they lost, kind of one of their high impact players. But it's really up in the air. He's been with this team for quite some time.
Yeah, and one thing that playoff teams need to be able to be is flexible. They need to be able to be agile within their team comps. And, there are also 5 other people that got them to 9-1. So it's still looking pretty good for them. And now over to Birb Bois. What should we know about them?
Well, Birb Bois are also a very strong contender. We've been following them throughout. And if nothing else, they're going to be coming in with their full 6. So that's already, that's going to be one step up in that mental game so that all of the compositions that you have been practicing up until this point, you will be able to execute without any kind of, shuffling of the various pieces. Because something else worth mentioning, Boop, is that we're not actually playing on the live patch, I don't believe. I'm getting a little bit ahead of myself. I'm so excired for Contenders
Leaks
Trials.
2018. Just saying. But anyway, now that we've gotten to learn a little bit about Birb Bois, I want to introduce the rest of our team. So on cast today, we have the wonderful LoBosco. I don't know if you guys know this about LoBosco, that his voice to listen to.
Yes. It's like, chocolate covered caramel with like the sea salt sprinkled on top. That's like the hint of roughness. There we go.
Yeah, made with like berry white as well.
Yeah, no, exactly. That's very accurate. Very accurate.
Yeah, and then we have Kenobi, who is going to be helping him out and who is a great up-and-comer caster. Excited for this game.
Oh, no, yeah. I mean, great caster, great analyst as well. So you got best of both worlds here, folks. No.
All right, so now we're going to get you to your casters. LoBosco, Kenobi, tell us what it is about this game.
Well, I don't know about the sultry tones, but I am glad to be here with my partner in Kenobi. And of course, Ham and Boop, thank you very much for getting us all started and ready here to go. So our pregame knowledge that we were given, Kenobi, is unfortunately something that we're going to have to talk to Augmented Authority after this because they told us they weren't going to have Wayfast. Wayfast is here. So we have a bone to pick with them.
Yeah, I mean, they're not giving us their insider strats. Maybe they're trying to bait us all out, not putting in Wayfast or not saying that they were going to put in Wayfast. But now that he is in, as they mentioned on the desk, that is a player that's been with them for this long time. So they do have that full team comp with them. So look for them to do some good things with Wayfast now.
We definitely look for that. We'll see how they have adapted to this meta. We know that the meta is still sort of in this constant change of flux, especially with some of the changes that just went through just this past week, Kenobi. We know that Hanzo has gotten a little bit weaker, and our first map is going to be a control map, and it's going to be Oasis. So setting up this first map that we're going to here, what should we expect as far as what Oasis can bring to the table?
I think you're going to expect a more of a brawly composition to start off. It'll all depend on, if we're going to, depending on the map where we start with Oasis, we could be going to, a map where it's very pharmacy like gardens, or we could be going to, city center where it's just like, another fair map, or it could be just, university where it's just a huge brawl on that one point in the middle with the hole in the middle. So it really depends on what map we're going to be starting with, but I think Hanzo will be still seeing play just because Graviton Dragon Strike is still an absolutely ridiculously powerful combo. And with the prevalence of Ryan, Zarya, and Brigitte, that definitely could be something we see.
Well, we're going to be going into our first map here just shortly, Kenobi, but looking at the other side here for Birb Bois, they're another team. They're actually the higher seeded team. Both these teams, the 8 and the 9 seed, Augmented Authority, the 9 seed. So this is another team. This is sort of the winner here goes on to face the winner of the game versus the 1 and the 16 seed. So it's expected that the 1 seed's going to advance on. When we look at Birb Bois, what are the expectations we should have?
I think Birb Bois and, with Augmented Reality, I think both of these teams are very evenly matched. The 8 and the 9 is that matchup where you're going to be seeing the two teams that are the most evenly matched since they've had that, rather similar type of road and, rather similar type of record. So look for this to be a really interesting matchup between these two. And, as we mentioned, Wayfast is still back in this lineup. So it's going to be really interesting to see what these two teams can bring to the table.
Especially, too, when you look at the map that we're going to first, we're going to City Center here. And when you look at it, what should be the things to expect here? It looks like we're going to get a Pharah here from Danid on one side. So the Pharah obviously still a great option here.
Yeah, this Pharah here with the Mercy, so that's going to be coming out, I believe, for Augmented Authority here. So it's going to be a bit of an issue here because they don't, on the side of Birb Bois, have any hit scan to deal with this. It looks like they're running just a, kind of full-ish dive combo with this Sombra here. So interesting pick onto the Sombra. Let's see what it can do and if it can be, a bit of a nuisance to that Pharah in the air.
Addy and Wayfast are the tracers here as well. So you're seeing divey comps on either side. We'll see how this is going so far. Danid in the air, dealing out the rocket damage. Hasn't quite found anyone yet. Very close to taking out the Lucio and Misha. Very, very close, but Misha able to stay alive. But Twal's able to do the damage needed along with those rockets as they are now going to be able to take this point here in a second for Augmented Authority as they finish off the last couple.
Yeah, and that was a lot of the Pharah, and I know we saw in that in the kill cam rather, but it was mostly Danid on their Pharah there, just pumping out so much damage, and they're just not able to contest with it. They might need to look to switch to something if you're on the side of Birb Bois to try and deal with this Pharah, because Danid already has that barrage already this early into the fight, and it could be a very detrimental ability that they could use to just completely wipe a team if they catch them off guard.
It's like Danid's looking for a time to use it, decides to use it right away, but spotting it out of the air was the Diva, but Massey able to still go down here. So the fight's still going in a way that it's even on either side. Vineless, though, with the Coalescence, able to get one, or Vaneless, excuse me, getting one here. Self-destruct by Twals in desperation, won't find anybody, and taken out before getting back into the mech. So it looks like this will be the switch here for the side of Birb Bois as they look to try and get this rampaging Winston out of the way. So the Primal Rage keeping things going along with Wayfast here, who's going to just go away here as the rest of his team's coming back. So they haven't been killing anybody here, but they're still keeping the percentage building.
Yeah, and even though it looked like the fight was lost, I mean, they're still doing a great job of building up that percentage. The EMP is going to come out here, try and catch a couple, but it's not going to be able to. And they still have the point on the side of Augmented Authority. Both sound barriers coming out as well, and they're already at 65%. This is an absolutely fantastic stagger for percentage that's coming out.
Paul's very close to losing the mech here. Does now. Adi and Masi able to get one apiece here. Getting another one is the Sombra. So now things may be going to finally flip here for Birb Bois if they can finally just get these last couple out of the way. And now at 85%, they'll finally get the flip.
Yeah, and I mean, they started that fight, I believe it was at around 40% for the side of Augmented Authority, and to come out of that with 85% and, keeping some of that all charge back up into your reservoir, that's a pretty good, percentage, I would say, to come out from that. You are ahead on percentage for ult economy as well. Danid very close to this barrage that we've seen, could be a bit more detrimental than it was that first time, just only getting messy, but really good play coming out from Augmented Authority.
Addy using the pulse bomb there, didn't get anything with it. Self-destruct from Twals, doesn't get anybody here. Still plenty of strength left here. Danid with another barrage, not going to get anything with it. Think got stunned in the middle of it as well, it looked like. Either way, the barrage doesn't deal any damage. It does allow for the team to move forward, though, here. Primal Rage, though, by the Winston and Watt 7 to try and force everybody back, and the DPS starting to do the damage again. Another Coalescence from Baneless comes out as well to try and take out the rest of the players here. So it's a very good start here on the second hold, 52% built up to now.
Yeah, I'm really liking the play coming out from Addy and Massey here. They're both, you know, making sure their target focus is on the same one. If you're a Tracer and a Sombra, the amount of damage you can pump out on a single target is absolutely huge with the, you know, Pulse Pistol and the submachine gun that Sombra has. So they're doing a really good job of making sure they're on the same person at the same time. And if they can keep doing that, I think they have a good shot of bringing this map back.
The only bad thing right now is the D.Va out of the picture already for Birb Bois by Danid and Wayfast and Midna combining here to get the last couple out of the way as they will take back this point here. The Tracer dashing away, but Addy gets staggered. That's a big stagger with 90% getting hit now.
Yeah, they might not even be able to get back onto the point. They're going to have to just throw their bodies completely, only at 95%. The D.Va is going to have to try and just jump onto this point right now to stall the best she can with the Sombra there. The barrage is going to get Baneless. That's a huge pick. No support for this last fight.
And the Pulse Bomb able to get the Lucio as well, so both supports out of the picture here, Kenobi, as they continue on to the point with overtime going. Watt 7 trying to deal up as much damage as possible, but Venara is one of the only ones left in that D.Va mech, along with Addy, who's finally able to get back into the fight after that stagger. It looks like it's just a matter of time. The Moira and Baneless is back here, but they're going to dash off. Good Pulse Bomb here to get Baneless, although Baneless goes down before the Pulse gets them. And now it's just Venara on the point, and now the overtime meter finally goes away. 1-0 the lead for Augmented Authority after our first map.
Yeah, and you know, it might have been just a little bit too, you know, reliant on that comp with the Sombra and the Tracer. I mean, it was very close. They did get 80%, but maybe they should have, you know, switched to something, maybe a pharmacy of their own, or maybe a hit scan to try and deal with Danid on that Pharah, because Danid was getting a lot of value off of that, you know, Pharah. Not necessarily getting the kills with Barrage or with his rockets, but softening them up so much that the tanks, Twoozle and Midna, were just able to jump onto the backline and kill them. And that's really what you want to see from Pharah. If you're able to whittle down enough, the tanks that can just, especially if it's D.Va Winston, can just absolutely annihilate any pick.
The one thing to point out here is, well, Danid is now switching off. We are on Garden, so you thought maybe you'd see the Pharah again, but Danid decides to go Sombra, so Sombra comps on either side is what we get, Kenobi, as they meet here on the point, jumping onto the high ground here first. Getting a lot of damage done is Midna, but Midna able to back away and not go down. Falls very close to losing that mech early on to give that early advantage. The point now controlled by Birb Bois as they're able to force back Augmented Authority, coming around, flanking around is Danid, looking for the hack onto the Lucio, able to get it onto Micro, who's able to get very close to going down, able to stay alive at least for the moment, but not able to get him down as they finally do get the Lucio eventually, but not before Birb Bois is getting everybody else for Augmented Authority, and they will strike first here on Gardens after they deal with Vinda, who's up top. Wayfast, though, coming back in here, trying to get some damage out, and also the Moira, but they both go down. Cass's Bass is quickly going down, and they finally get control. Wayfast did get a pulse stick there, but that's going to go for naught, Kenobi.
Yeah, it's going to go for naught, and if you look at the side of the ultimates, you know, coming out for the side of, I believe that is Birb Bois there, they have a lot for themselves for this next fight. They're going to have that EMP. Danid isn't going to have his. They have the self-destruct, and they have the Coalescence and Pulse Bomb. So if looking at ult economy, you have a very good shot here for Birb Bois to stop this next push coming out from the side of Team Augmented Authority. And if you're playing as patient as Birb Bois have been, which has been really nice to see, you can really just maybe just take this fight.
Massey uses the EMP. I'm not sure how many ended up getting caught, and it didn't look like there was too many. Addy able to get Danid, who had the EMP for the fight. So the ultimate's working so far for Birb Bois as they're at least able to force everyone back. So having to regroup here, but now ult economy has flipped the other way, Kenobi.
Yeah, full six-pack here for the side of Augmented Authority. So if they use these ultimates correctly, they should be able to take this point pretty easily. And it's going to start with Midna just jumping onto that Lucio in the back line, and that might be the end of the fight. That's a support down.
Very good EMP too by Danon, so they might only have to end up using one ultimate here to get this fight away, as now they just have to deal with a Primal Rage from Watt 7. Watt 7 just trying with Massey to stall for as long as possible as they both go down quickly. So 68% here. Not a bad start though for Birb Bois, but they're still in a bad ult economy position.
Yeah, you mentioned they only had to use one ult, and getting out of that fight with just the EMP is absolutely huge for Augmented Authority. You keep all of your other ultimates, you still have that self-destruct, and you still have the Primal Rage, you have both your support ultimates, so just getting out there with the EMP is absolutely huge for them. So they need to look to maybe just not get EMP'd themselves for this next fight and make sure they use those ultimates correctly.
Already a third of the way, and that looks like it's a pretty good EMP, but it doesn't get the Lucio, gets the sound barrier off. Self-destruct misses there, so good use of an ult there by Wayfast as well, able to get the Pulse Bomb on to the Diva in Venara, as now they are cleaning up again. Still have a call to ultimates in the bank as well. They have the Self-Destruct and the Primal Rage. Not the greatest of ultimates, but good stall tactics on either side, as they're close to now being even in the percentage as they build the 46.
Yeah, it looked like Massey there did get a great EMP, but just was not able to get the Lucio, as you mentioned. And, you know, if you are Massey there, you have to start to think that, you know, Lucio would have that sound barrier, so maybe just saving that EMP for after the engage so you could get rid of that sound barrier would have been a better choice there, and that might have, you know, gotten you the victory there, because that sound barrier healing was a very, you know, important part of them winning that fight.
Birb coming on the stairs on the side of the map of Augmented Authority here. Coalescence out here. Good stick, by the way, by Addy to start this off, so they're already at the advantage. Watt 7 already built up to another Primal Rage and is dealing the damage out. The rest of his team has done the work that's needed. They are up to 78% on the other side, though, for Augmented Authority. They didn't use too many ults in this fight, and they're still stalling out here with Midna, so Midna just trying to keep it going as long as possible, as it looks like, and then snapping onto the point is Wayfast. Going around that middle pillar, finally taken out, but they're able to get to 92% here. And now another stall coming out from Jovi. So they're very happy, I think, with this stall, is they're going to build up to 99% and get that overtime meter. And they have 5 ultimates here and only 2 on the other side.
Yeah, that's great stall tactics coming out there. Understanding that if we do get to 99%, we're in that last fight territory. And with the ultimates we've built up, we can just go in. Wayfast can get a huge pulse bomb, and we have an EMP as well. So if they're able to push this advantage with their ults, they might be able to just take this win.
Well, the EMP comes out here to try and throw things the other way for Massey's side. Sound barrier here to great effect. Self-destruct, but it gets bubbled. Oh, the bubble comes off. Twals will get one. Danon able to get another. Addy does manage to get Cass's Bass, so chance here maybe, but there's still plenty of numbers on the other side. Sound barrier here used by Jofi as they try to force the rest of Birb Bois off the point, but they're starting to lose numbers as Massey's back in the fight. But Jofi and Midna able to take out the couple of targets here. They still have to flip the point, though, as the respawns start to come back in for Birb Bois. Venara, along with Watt 7, back dealing damage out for the tanks. Wayfast able to take out Watt 7, though, and another one. They're finally getting close to flipping this point. Good pulse sticks, but they can't get back on, and it's going to be Birb Bois. They end up getting this.
Was that... Do we count that as a C9, LoBosco? I think we.
It's tough. They kind of had to chase the kill. I think you have to maybe call it that. We do have a pause happen here, though. I'm not sure if we lost somebody or what ended up happening.
I think they just got so focused on Venanra, who just went into that little room to the left of the point. Wayfast and Tuzo were just so focused on getting that kill that it was already in overtime, as you mentioned. So they just went so fast for them to try to get back off the point. I think we just kind of call that a C9, LoBosco, because they were definitely had the numbers. I mean, we see Danitz coming back, and I mean, that's just a little bit of a mistake there. Maybe a little bit too focus heavy on Venanra there on that Diva to get her out of mech.
Toll is, though, I mean, that's a big one there, like you said. It looked like it was going to go the way of Augmented Authority. So now we go to University, and this is another map where strategy changes completely, Kenobi. And I don't know who this is going to go. We already see Massey on the Brigitte here, so it looks like we're going to get a Brigitte comp on both sides, actually.
Yeah, this is standard right here for. I believe this is pretty standard. You see the Brigitte, you see the Zarya, you see the Ryan, you see the Hanzo, and they're just gonna battle on this point, until someone gets that huge Graviton Dragon Strike combo to win that point for them. So, but no Zenyatta actually coming out for the side of Birb Bois here, so that's very interesting. You're not gonna have that Transcendence healing for that combo.
Vainless is on Anna, and don't forget, Anna just got boosted as well. She can now shoot through fully healed teammates. Adi's able to get Midnight here at the start. Watt7 able to get tools, as so now it's a very good start to this battle for the side, as Adi gets another one. So Birb Bois, very good start, and being forced back is Augmented Authority. Oh, and a sleep ends up going on to way fast here and gets taken out.
Yeah, I mean, the Reinhardt and Brigitte are basically your linchpins in this composition, and if those are the first two going down, you're just going to be left open without any shields to so much damage coming from the backline. Adi is going to be able to just fire arrow after arrow into your backline, get a couple of headshots with that storm arrow, and if you're able to, you know, route them like that, it's pretty much an easy win.
And Vainless here already up to the ultimate as well. So you're going to have the nano boost. It's going to go on to Massey here. So now you have the Brigitte going in, having the ultimate as well. So now they're going to have a chance to rally here at some point. Addy able to get one down. Vainless does manage to fall to damage, but it doesn't matter. The rest of the team for Birb Bois has done the work as they now retreat back to the point.
Yeah, and you know, it was interesting. Vainless there is really making this Ana pick pay off. He was able to sleep Tuzel in the backline, so Tuzel wasn't able to use her shield bash to get rid of Watt7 on this Reinhardt. And so Watt7 was just able to do so much damage. The rally's going to come out now, make sure everyone gets that armor as this next fight's coming. Midna on this Earth Shatter is one to look for right here.
Graviton Surge grabs a couple here. Good strike in, and now the charge in, and Vinera able to get two. Vainless able to get to walls as well, and Addy able to get damaged. So another clean wipe. They're already up to 60%. So we had two close maps, Kenobi, and this has been a stomp right now for Birb Bois.
Yeah, it's like Birb Bois kind of just woke up a little bit off of that, you know, C9 that they were just given from Augmented Authority, and Addy didn't even have to use Dragon Strike in that comp. Vainless just walked in and purpled everyone inside, so they're able to keep that Shatter Dragon Strike, and if Watt7 can get a huge Shatter, this might be the last fight we see.
So now here they come. Out comes the Dragon Strike here. Doesn't get anybody. Does allow Jofi, though, to get Misha out of the fight here early on. Charge, though, away. Watt7 trying to get Midna, but the rest of his team's falling on the point. Vainless trying to keep everybody alive who's left. Vainless is going to have to just try and either get out or just build up as much charge as possible. Watt7 does have the Earth Shatter here. They get to 95%. So Augmented Authority did what they needed, Kenobi. They won that fight.
Yeah, and they won that fight without losing a lot of armor also from that rally. Cass's Bass is that, you know, Zenyatta with that arm. So he's going to be a very, he's going to be a huge, you know, J. Jones is that 350 held Zenyatta. It's very scary to see. So if Cass's Bass can pump out a lot of damage from the backline, he can be relatively safe here and play just a slightly bit more aggressive as the Graviton's going to come out here.
Looks like they're maybe saving ultimates. Dragon Strike used here as well, but that seemed very calculated from the side of Birb Bois. They didn't waste any ults as well. They seem to have known that was coming, Kenobi.
Yeah, and I think that was a good, you know, that was a good ultimate push. They probably knew that, you know, okay, they're gonna have this combo. We should just all walk in, get rid of it now. And now Birb Bois, they have all the ultimate advantage right now. They have 4 on their side, getting close to that Graviton Dragon Strike combo from themselves. The rally's gonna come out here against this 2 sound barriers here.
And there's the Earth Shatter, manages to get 2, but they're quickly back up. The counter Earth Shatter able to get 2 as well, but Watt7 quickly back up after getting hit by the ult, the nano boost, swinging away, able to take out a couple of players here early on. Already to 62% though is Augmented Authority, and they're starting to swing this fight perhaps back into their way, but a good charge here, able to get some players into a room at walls, able to stay alive, and Watt7 goes down. So too much armor in the way, and now Augmented Authority sitting in a great spot, but you still have the Graviton Surge Dragon Strike combo potential for Birb Bois.
Yeah, you do, and the biggest thing to notice from that last fight is Cass's Bass had to use that Transcendence if Watt7 was running at him with that Reinhardt, you know, nano boosted Reinhardt, very scary. But this is last fight territory here. If this Graviton Dragon Strike combo does what it usually does, gets that 6 kill, this is the end of the fight right here, and it's only going to get Midna. That's only 1.
And now the counter Dragon Strike coming out afterwards. Way fast able to get Vainless out of this fight. It's still going to be a tough fight here. It's looking good for Birb Bois so far. Graviton Surge gets a bunch, but they flip the point here as they're about to hit 99%. Nobody's left here for Augmented Authority. Cass's Bass is the only one left. And now coming back out of the point is Yofi. So it's looking like it's going to be a win here, maybe, but a couple of players coming back. Midna and Wayfast. Cass is back in here, built up to another Transcendence to keep those couple players alive. That allows Tawals and Danded back in, who switched over to the Doomfist. See if that makes a difference. Charges into Vinarov. Vinarant's still alive here, though. Addy able to get one, gets another into Walls. Addy trying to be the hero for the side of Birb Bois as they end up taking this point and win this map of Oasis, going up 1-0. Kenobi, that finish was crazy.
Yeah, that finish was absolutely nuts. I mean, it was pretty much of a brawl. I thought it was over, you know, when Birb Bois hit that graviton, and it was only Midna, I believe, who was caught in it, and not, you know, the value you usually see from that. As we're gonna see, you know, obviously this was gonna be the play of the game. Just a huge graviton Dragon Strike combo here. We usually see these wiped teams, and you know, I gotta say, I mean, it's unfortunate because Augmented Authority maybe just threw that one away a little bit with that C9 we saw on the second map, I believe, Gardens, with that C9. So Birb Bois there, definitely taking that to their advantage and, you know, seizing that opportunity.
The other thing too, Kenobi, is that I noticed was that there was actually potential for Augmented Authority to have another combo happen for them. They had a chance to put together their Dragon Strike with their Graviton Surge. Their Graviton Surge ended up catching a lot of people.
Yeah, they got like
but
5
the Dragon Strike, though, happened right before it, though. So
yeah.
I don't know if maybe that was just not enough communication on their part. But here's the thing. One map, I think they still have to feel good about their chances here. We've got, you know, a few more maps to go. We're going right into Junkertown as our next map. And this is a map where you can kind of, this is sort of a map that can be a dice roll.
Yeah, I mean, it's a dice roll, and this map is very heavily, you know, composition reliant, I would say. It's not like you know, Control or Oasis. It's the things like that where it's a lot about the mechanic brawling. It's mostly here, you know, are we going to see Pirate Ship? Are we going to see, you know, double sniper, which who's able to, you know, click those heads better, I guess is how I would say this. You sometimes see ball and chain. You know, very versatile comps are available in this map, so it's going to be interesting to see what, you know, these two teams are going to bring out here. Are we going to see that double sniper that we usually, you know, see on this map? Are we going to see Pirate Ship? It's going to be interesting what these teams pull up.
Is double sniper still a great option with even with the fact that you can have such tanking comps that come out?
I think so, especially on attack. I think it's a very good. I mean, on attack and defense, I think they're both very good, just because of the fact that now that Hanzo, you know, has this Stormbow, he's able to do a lot of damage to shields, and a lot of this map revolves around, you know, shield breaking as well as clicking those heads. So if you're able to get those Arista shields down, that I believe that's Midna is going to be bringing out here on this Orisa, you're going to be able to do a lot of damage. And same for the reverse. You know, if you're on attack and if Watch 7 is going to be playing this Orisa, as we see here, if you're able to get those shields down and then you're also able to counter the Widow, it's going to be a very, you know, Hanzo's a very good pick here.
It seems like Hanzo's ability to destroy shields hasn't really changed, even with the change that we had this past week.
Yeah, he's kind of like that pseudo Junkrat, you know, but we're going to see Massey here on a Junkrat, speaking of, and, you know, he's able to do, you know, pump out a lot of damage here, as we're going to see both these teams are just going to try and feel each other out, see what they got first, and it looks like we are going to be seeing double sniper.
Yes, double sniper is the choice here. Wayfast is on the Widow right now. Gets a good shot on Addy at the start here. Doesn't get the headshot, though, but it's going to be enough to force the Widowmaker back, so that'll force the rest of the team back as well. So much pressure from that Widowmaker as they're now able to get this cart moving early on. So they get that early setup, and their double sniper comp can go to work. You do have the Widow on the other side, and Addy, though, too. So we'll see what Addy can do here. Finds Wayfast in the air, but can't find the follow-up shot. So very close. Both these Widows have been really good here, at least early on. The battle between those two, obviously super important.
Yeah, and you know, nothing has really happened so far in the terms of, you know, like picks or anything. It looks they're just trying to break the shields the best they can. And whoever can get this, you know, halt hook combo first, or whoever can get a headshot as Wayfast is going to kill Addy, and he's not going to be able to be rezzed right now. And this might be, you know, the snowball that they need to take this point here, as Midna's just going to go berserk on this Orisa.
Misha's going to get the res onto Addy, though, to bring the Widowmaker back in here. So still a chance for Addy to make their presence felt, at least early on, but rest of his team is falling here. Addy does manage to get Cass's Bass, but his team's fallen too much. Jofi's able to get the res here, sorry. Danid able to get Misha as well. So they're going to have to regroup on the side of Birb Bois, but not much time taken off the clock here either. So Augmented Authority has to be feeling pretty good with their first push, as they've got 4:58 on the clock.
Yeah, and one of the things with that last fight with Wayfast, getting that pick onto Adi first, I believe that Misher had to pop that Valkyrie and then had to leave his team to go make sure that Adi was res back into the fight, so he wasn't able to heal. And then the tanks on the side of Augmented Authority were just able to do so much damage.
Dragon Strike out here from underneath. Doesn't find anything from Dan. It was just a little bit off. Now coming off the tire, but Wayfast able to find it. So very good job here by the Widowmaker here. Self-destruct. Doesn't find anybody, but Addy does find Falls that was out of mech. So 12 is down here. Is still dealing damage from off top. Is a Massey as well as the rest of his team trying to keep that cart from moving. Addy able to take out his counterpart Wayfast, but the whole hog here from Cass's Bass might help get this cart started soon. Vinarad, though, getting a lot of healing coming, though. Sends the self-destruct in. Oh, Joe, just able to get out of the way. I thought it was that the Mercy was going to get caught there, but not the case. And now they finally get this cart moving again as the tanks are doing the work needed.
That was so close to being Jofi's a really bad pick there for Jofi if he was caught by that self-destruct. That would have been huge. They would have had no support to go through this last point. And it looks like they're going to be able to take point B with no contention there after a couple of good picks there coming out from Wayfast. So, this Widow battle hasn't been the focal point too far. It's mostly been the ground game between these, this triple tank combo and the tank combo of the other side as well.
So pay attention to how those things continue on here. You do have two ultimates up. Jofi does have the Valkyrie, so that's a very good ult that you can push forward with potentially if you chain heal those players as they move forward. Dragon Strike here to try and clear people out of the way. Baneless, though, on the right side of the cart, just dealing damage out, is able to get the main taken Midna. So Misher using the res on Watch 7 was also taken out. Oh, almost a good hook there, but just around the corner. Hook 2.0 doesn't help Baneless out.
Yeah, unfortunately they weren't able to get the picks they needed there in that last fight, and the Dragon Strike did come up, but it zoned them. Didn't get any picks, it just mostly zoned them, and Vaneless with a huge whole hog there was able to push everyone back, so they weren't able to corral them into the underpass over there, and they were able to, get out of there pretty quickly and, pretty safe.
Missed a hook there too, did Vaneless, who had a chance to maybe get Midna, but Midna's barrier went down just in front. But Danon already with another Dragon Strike uses it and gets two here. That's probably going to be enough here as Vinar is caught in a bad spot and is going to get staggered here pretty hard by the side of Augmented Authority.
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't looking at the ult charge, but Danid there had that Dragon Strike in that last fight and used it, and was able to have another one, which is absolutely incredible how fast he was able to farm this ultimate charge, already to 21% to another one. And it looks like they're going to be able to push this pretty freely here, all the way around the bend under the fidget spinner here. And it looks like a comp switch has come in. They're going to put Watch 7 onto this Reinhardt. It looks like they're just going to run at him from the behind. The huge halt, though, that's absolutely nuts.
Completely stops the momentum of the side of Birb Bois and lets the rest of the team know as Danid and Tawal's able to get two here at the start. Vinara able to get Danid though, but Tawal's able to continue here as he gets another one as it's Watch 7 sort of on an island here. Vinara getting stalled out again along with Massey though. Massey keeping him alive, but it's probably just going to end up staggering and Vinara is able to get back into the mech. So able to still at least keep on the cart. They do get under the 3-minute mark. Self-destruct thrown on top here, and Minar is able to get Jofi, so that's a big pick here. If the rest of the team can regroup and come back in as they're continuing to come here. But another Dragon Strike from Danon is going to force players back. Dragon Strike from Spawn will at least get the rest of the team in Birb Bois back towards the cart as they can now start and get their defense set up. Cass's Bass on the near side, able to take out Massey though, so they lose a lot here with the Brigetta out of the way.
Yeah, and the respawns might just be too detrimental here for the side of Team Augmented Authority. They might just be able to get onto this point here, but no, actually, they're pushing it pretty far, and Midna's still alive has been absolutely huge on this Orisa, just staying on this cart, and has the bongos right now, and that's a lot of damage that's going to be coming out from this entire team right now, LoBosco.
And Wayfast free shooting here, and also has that boost as well. Watch 7 goes down here. Sound barrier used here by Misher to just stall with Massey. They're both the only ones alive, and Ara now getting back here as well. As the last couple of trickling players coming in, Addy forced away. Vinar, the only one on card. Dragon Strike here to clear everybody off, at least for the moment. But they finally push it, but so much time wasted at the end there. Birb Bois has to at least be happy with how far of a disadvantage that they were at, that they got as much time off the clock as they did.
Yeah, you'll definitely take that stagger. You know, a minute 50, that's around a decent time, though, if you're the side of Augmented Authority for pushing that all the way. And, you know, I'm very impressed so far with how Minda has been playing on this Orisa. I mean, we saw that huge six-man halt there that was able to stop them from, you know, just getting rolled over by that Reinhardt Lucio. So I'm really impressed with the tank play coming out from the side of Augmented Authority here. And Minda, you know, was alive for that entire last fight. The whole time that they were stalling, Minda was just alive on the cart, doing so much damage, and no one was really accounting for him. So great play from this main tank.
And when you look at it too, Cass has really teamed up well with Midna. Them using those hook combos, excuse me, have been really effective for them as well. Defensively now, it looks like they're going to basically do the same exact comp that we just saw too. So we're not going to see too much of a switch on either side. You're still having Massey on the Junkrat as well. So this is basically the same comps on either side, Kenobi, and it was pretty even.
Yeah, and I'm interested to see if Massey is actually going to stick onto this Junkrat or maybe play something like a Bastion because, you know, Massey, you don't really need that Junkrat along with that Hanzo. I think if you have the double sniper, it can be enough. But if they do want to really just, you know, play a really hard shield break game, then having that Junkrat along with that Hanzo, they're going to be able to melt through the shields coming out from Midnight. And if they're able to get those tanks off that front line with the damage, you know, the AoE damage that Junkrat can pump out, they might be able to start snowballing this.
Massey, an original member of the Birb Bois team, a Genji main is what they have him listed as well. So used to those projectile characters. We'll see what Massey ends up doing. Looks like they're actually going to keep it. Baneless is going to be on the Hanzo, so they're going to have triple DPS here. Be the comp that we get to see Kenobi.
Yeah, so definitely look for them to start breaking the shield very, very quickly. So Midna's going to have to be very careful with his placement as the hook's going to come in and Banana's going to be very low there, but it is just a bait there. Cass's Bass is going to be taken down by Adi, and, you know, I don't think he's going to be in a resable position there, but you know, the turn kill is there from Danid.
Yeah, Danid kind of in a precarious spot, able to get the kill on the Addy, so at least pulls out the res, but the cart is still moving here. Way Fast able to find Mishra here, so it's a very good kill there, and Way Fast fighting another one. Way Fast starting to heat up on this Widowmaker.
Yeah, huge play coming out from Wayfest there, was able to camp the Resurrection so that that couldn't come out. And then on top of that, gets the hook shot onto the Hanzo that's chasing, and great play there from the sniper. And, you know, we said it last game, the snipers didn't mean too much, but here, right now, Danite and Wayfest are playing absolutely nuts.
Oh, and Addy, hearing us, decides to get a headshot of his own onto Danit. Of course. So now Addy looking to try and put some more pressure on. Has the infrared sight here as well. Sees where the Widow is. Oh, just missed the shot. Moved enough. Out of the way was Way Fast. Looking for another target now. His team has been stalled out here as they've gotten around and trying to get around this corner here towards this first point. Venara able to get a kill here, though, onto his counterpart in Cass. Way Fast, though, able to find Baneless. So fairly even here on either side. But you still have two DPSs, though, because, of course, you still have Massey, who's going to use the tire here. Finds Danit. Self-destruct onto the cart by Twals will at least slow things down for a minute, but it's not going to be enough as the whole hog comes out here, and Minara is getting very close with the rest of his team to getting this cart pushed into this final point, as they're just trying to stall out as long as possible. They've almost got this under 2 minutes.
Yeah, they're very close, and the Dragon's just going to come out here. It's right on the cart, so it could get a couple of picks here. It is going to be able to get Watch 7 down, and these might be the picks they need here to stop this defense, and it will. Adi's going absolutely huge right now, and it looks like they're going to be able to push this through. Adi there being the janitor and cleaning everything up.
Adi insane as we get to see that again. Kenobi just completely going bonkers here to get this first point. So they have 4:12 on the clock, so not quite as much time as we saw from the side of Augmented Authority Kenobi, but we know there was a good third point stall that happened for Birb Bois. So they still, if they can push through this second point fast, they have a good chance.
Yeah, but they're gonna have to worry about a Junkrat tire coming out from Massey, and, you know, there haven't been, you know, a lot of those, like, you know, 3-man tires, but this Junkrat tire could be very huge right now. It's gonna come out, it's gonna get Cass's Bass, so he's done no whole hog for him, unfortunately, and it looks like they're gonna be able to push this pretty far right now.
Rez has come out on either side to try and keep this fight even on both sides. Damn it, though, Jofi with that res, I think maybe did enough there to help keep his team in front here, as Augmented Authority is able to force back Birb Bois here. So tough sledding up ahead as they're now getting close to 3 minutes and 20 seconds.
Yeah, so it seems like we aren't going to be seeing double sniper. Vaneless is switched over to that Zenyatta. I do like the pick, but what I would maybe like to see Massey switch off of this Junkrat and maybe go to something like a Hanzo themselves, so that way they're going to be able to, pump out a lot of that damage as well and counter Danet and Wayfast, who have been pretty decent so far on this double sniper composition.
Would you say, though, this is the best point to use Junkrat on? It's the most enclosed. Dragon Strike out here. Just we'll find that out here in just a second from Kenobi. Venara pulling in the main take in Midna, who goes down. Danet, though, able to get Misha on the other side. So Misha going down, that could be a big loss with losing that Mercy here and allowing for the res to come back for Jofi on the other side. So Augmented Authority maybe going to be able to get this one back, as just running away is the rest of Birb Bois.
Yeah, and this is the issue that I was talking about when you don't have a Hanzo of your own. You don't have that mobility that Hanzo has. Is Danet is able to just absolutely clean up here. With Junkrat, it is a pretty enclosed space, but again, you don't have that mobility to get to Danet, and the only person that can really get to him on the other side is that sniper Wayfast, or the sniper that they did have. So Adi's going to switch over to that Hanzo. I like this pick, Massey going over to that Brigitte, and I'm liking the switches that I'm seeing right now.
So, like you said, definitely better of a point to use Junkrat, but not good enough against a Hanzo. And Danet with another Dragon Strike already, by the way. Twal's also with the self-destruct here as well. Dragon Strike, though, by Danet, I think was what came out here. Didn't see where it went. I think might have gotten eaten is what happened. Either way, self-destruct here right into a small room, and Twal's is able to get Addy. So Addy out of the picture already. So good start here for the side of Augmented Authority, as now they just got to deal with the players down near the cart. That cart is starting to move at the very least for the side of Birb Bois.
Yeah, and they're kind of in a bad position right now, as the double sniper is just going to be able to rain a bunch of damage on them from above. Wayfast and Danet are going to be able to pick them apart here, and some gruesome staggers are going to come out for this team. And they're getting a little bit shell-shocked right now by this double sniper. It's being played absolutely perfectly right now. They're just everywhere. They don't know how to keep track of where Danet and Wayfast have been on this map. So Adi's going to have to really pull out all the stops for this next push and try and be that counter to both.
So they come back here. This is probably going to be one of their last pushes, if not their last one, for the side of Birb Bois. They're going around towards the right side, coming onto the cart now. Dragon Strike out right on top of it, and Danet gets Addy at the beginning of this fight. Wayfast getting Venara too. Got him out of mech, then the headshot to end it, as this is just another stomp here from Augmented Authority, as they now have 30 seconds. So that fight happened so fast, Kenobi, they will get another one, but they have just been dominated here.
Yeah, and that's the second fight in a row where Addy has died first, and Addy is such a integral part of this composition, being able to pump out all that damage. As Wayfast is going to give a huge stagger on Venanra, and Wayfast actually can just camp the spawn if he feels like it, and they're going to maybe not even, they only have 10 seconds to get back to the cart LoBosco, they have to go right now.
Let's see if anybody can get back here. They're going to come down low, going straight towards the cart. Looks like they will have enough time here. Watt 7 able to get on. Overtime will start. But now it's about winning the fight here for the side of Birb Bois if they want to keep this going. Addy with a good kill on it. Jofi at the start. That might be what they needed. It's just exactly what they had to do. Addy able to get Midna as well, and Venara able to get another self-destruct here by Tawals to at least start out for as long as possible, but it's not going to matter. They will keep this going.
Yeah, and I'm really happy that, they switched back over to on the side of Birb Bois. I'm really happy they switched over to that double sniper. Massey came out and was able to put a lot of pressure onto Danet, so he wasn't able to have free range in that background to deal all this damage. And, Adi coming out with that huge Dragon Strike, able to get Jofi, of all people, the support, the Mercy there, not able to resurrect or heal his team. So great play there, and, they do have a chance to push this all the way. They're going to have to do it.
Nanra now switching over to the Zarya as well. Zarya's on either side. Wayfest now on Zarya as well. Massey, though, getting the kill here on the Midnight. Here's the Earth Shatter there, helping with the follow-up, too, as everybody else gets taken out. They'll keep this cart moving. They're going to have less time, but they still have a chance here to potentially complete this one as they start to make their way around this U.
Yeah, and Addy's gonna have the Dragon Strike, so look out for that. Venanra just switched, so they're not gonna have that Graviton Surge Dragon Strike combo probably in this round. So they're gonna have to play a little bit of vanilla Overwatch here, as Danet's gonna play some Stormbow Overwatch right there and go in.
Stormbow kills. The rest of his team now goes into the fight, but Watch 7 and Addy doing the work. Danet able to get Baneless out of the fight. Sound barrier here. Try to keep everybody else countered by the Transcendence here by the side of Cassis. They're trying to keep this one going. Danet able to get kill. So now it's still continuing here, and now the Dragon Strike from behind by Danet. Can they clear everybody off? 5 seconds left to go. Doesn't look like anybody but Massey can get back to the cart. Just gets back there in time, starts the overtime meter, but the only one close enough is Baneless. And Baneless just gets there in time, but nobody else is anywhere near. Time ticking down, and this is going to even it up 1-1 as Augmented Authority now gets the win here and evens this up. Kenobi, quite the finish.
Yeah, Danet there being the absolute hero at the end, you know, had to go one-on-one with Addy there, managed to get the headshot that he needed, arrow right to the head, not to the knee, and was able to get the kill, and was able to pop out that Dragon Strike as well, right before he died, getting that double kill at the end there. So Danet, you know, being a star player on this map, you know, as we see him a little bit in the kill feed here, and, you know, that just proves the power of, you know, this new Hanzo that we've seen.
It's definitely a powerful tool, and we saw it used to great effect there. But now we're going to send it back to the desk, as we're going to send it back to Boop and Ham, as they're going to break this all down for us and get us ready for the second half of this. So Boop, Ham, take it away.
Thanks, Kenobi and LoBosco. It is great to be here because we've got a ton to talk about. This was kind of a story of two different teams with Augmented Authority, right?
Yeah.
In Oasis, twice I saw there was just a, you know, maybe just a little bit of choke involved.
Oh, learn your signs, kids. The universal sign for choking. Augmented Authority going to be a little bit familiar with that after Oasis. Like you said, Boop, we saw that Birb Bois and excuse me, Birb Bois and Augmented Authority both putting up a really strong showing. You know, Sombra v Sombra, Farah v Farah at, you know, some points. And so, you know, it did kind of come down to unforced errors on the side of Augmented Authority that kind of gifted Birb Bois that win on Gardens and then on University as well.
So let's talk about that, Farah, because someone that we're going to talk about again here at Junkertown is a character or player, I mean, named
I'm sure he's a character too.
Danet. So on Oasis, he played Farah, and something that we talked about was, and Kenobi mentioned as well, is that he didn't show up in the kill feed all that often on Oasis, but he was effective. Can you walk us through how?
Yeah, certainly. So you, for all of you young DPS players out there, don't worry, even if your name isn't popping up in, you know, shiny red or blue, you can still be doing a lot for your team. Sorry though, Hanzo, please switch. I'm just kidding. But no, yeah, so like you said, and as Kenobi said, Danet constantly putting in so much damage, untouched the entire time during city center, just free farming to barrages, which is always great, and also softening up any of the opponents on the ground for his tank lineup. Midna, Twals, both of them are, you know, very good together to finish up those kills, get a little cleave in there. And so, you know, the Farah, a really good pick, and he was always there when his team needed him. In particular, that very last fight to, you know, finish things out. Augmented, excuse me. Augmented Authority came back in. There was a barrage ready. He drops it at the choke, you know, eliminates 2 members right off the bat, and then you've secured that first round. And so, you know, he, I would say, a secret shadow. Maybe you don't always see him visually, but you can feel his aura, right?
Man, that is like the worst kind of thing. So you guys don't know this, but I was scared of my shadow when I was little. Oh, it was a problem.
Yeah, no, I believe it.
Yeah, but Oasis was fun. We saw a 6-kill wombo combo, a grab Dragon Strike. I like to call that the Seda Dragons. Coining it now. We saw some great Ananades, some good support play, some great Lucio from Jofi. But now, I have one question for you before we go on to Junkertown. Was it a C9?
I don't know, man. There are no C's to be found here. AA, BB, Augmented Authority, Birb Bois. So we got all the alphabet of 9s over here. A little bit. We'll still call it, we'll just generously call it, you know, keep taking the eye off the objective a little bit, because going into University again, both teams playing really strongly. I mean, Augmented Authority even, I would say, had a little bit of an edge in terms of the ultimate combos that we saw, that 6K Dragon Strike, the Dragon Surge, that was from Augmented Authority, great positional awareness, but they just, you know, took their eyes off the ball a little bit, butterfingered that basketball through their hands, and then Birb Bois, they grabbed Birb Bois onto the, actually what happened was they grabbed Birb Bois onto the point, and there's like 5 people on the point, and they're all like waiting for the damage to come through, and they cap it in the middle of the grab, and then they're forced into like, you know, unfortunate positioning where you have to be contesting the point as overtime is coming down, and that was just bad news bears for Augmented Authority.
So, what was the bad news bears for Augmented Authority was Junkertown. So, something that I don't know, well, something that we all need to mention is that Danid and his positioning throughout the entirety of Junkertown was spot on. It was great.
Chef's kiss, sprinkle the salt. Yeah, no, where in the world is Dan at San Diego? That was always the question that Birb Bois were struggling with throughout the whole, the entirety of that map. I mean, you see teams run the double sniper these days. It's so common, especially with, you know, the Hanzo buffs coming through. He has added mobility, added burst damage. But Danid, wow, it's like, you know, yeah, he was totally making hay with kind of the mono-directionality of the composition that Birb Bois were playing. I mean, every single point, A, B, C, that you always saw him taking some kind of off-angle, juicy, you know, flanking Dragon Strike to finish things out on point C. It was just a tale of Hanzo's outdoing, you know, the shield tanks that Birb Bois, or the shield composition that Birb Bois are bringing out. Yeah, you put Massey on like the Brigida, but eventually the shield is going to break if you're not killing that Hanzo.
Yep. Speaking of that Hanzo, I want to talk about it one more time. Danid was like Houdini a couple times. You know, he was in a situation where he was literally in the back line, exactly. Point A Junkertown, right? Runs away, makes a great escape.
Over the roof. Yeah.
Over the roof.
7 HP in a dream. Moved to New York City, made it big. Yeah.
Relaxes, gets headshot by Adi. But it was still pretty amazing to see. So something else about Junkertown that I noticed about Birb Bois was kind of like, especially on B, was a lack of awareness. I think Danid might have been getting him in their head, but something we saw was if it wasn't Danid, it was Wayfast on that Widowmaker that was also getting those really good looks.
Yeah, Birb Bois really found themselves between a shooty place and another shooty place, which is really not where you want to be. They had no way to close the distance, which I think is one of their biggest issue there. Like you said, maybe the mental game as well, but it's no worries, folks, as we'll be throwing back to our lovely casters, bringing us the next half where we will see maybe, hey, you know, a little bit of a break. Birb Bois is going to be shaking things up as we head into map 3.
Well, thank you very much, Ham and Boop. And I guess we're in an Empire State of Mind now, Kenobi, because, you know, thinking of a little bit of Alicia Keys and Jay-Z there when they're talking about having that Empire State of Mind, talking about New York at the very least. But going to the next map here, we're going to be going to Volskaya Industries, and this 2CP map can be make or break for either of these teams. Generally, if you're the team going with that lead into that fourth and final map, of course, generally you're the one who wins. So Volskaya in this current state, what do we expect, and what do we expect from Danid?
I'm not sure. I think Danid, you just keep him on that Hanzo. I believe he was just such a good, you know, it was such a good job from them on that last point, or on that Junkertown rather, to keep him, you know, he was getting in their hands, as Boop on the desk mentioned, you know, just a little bit of playing around them and, you know, making sure he could, you know, get to their backline and free farm and then get away very carefully. On this map, you're not able to do that as much. It's not as open of a map as Junkertown, but I think you do, you know, try and keep him on that Hanzo. Hanzo's pretty much a must pick nowadays in this meta, especially if you're going to, you know, try and run something like double sniper. And that's something also we need to think about, is that Widow v Widow battle with Wayfast and Adi, which we didn't get to see too much of on Junkertown, but here we might see it play a lot more into the result.
Well, this is another thing I wanted to ask you about, and it's sort of been a point that I'm really curious to know. Massey hasn't spent a lot of time on Hanzo from what we've seen. It's kind of been a surprise that we haven't. Why do you think that is? They're using, it looks like that we're going to see Massey on it now, but why has this been underutilized when we sort of know that this is sort of what is needed in the meta right now?
I think on Junkertown, maybe they got caught a little bit with their, you know, in a previous season state of mind. If we're talking about state of minds here, I think they, you know, said that, okay, Junkart's really good on this map, but, you know, we now have Hanzo, who's like a better version kind of that Junkrat, can pump out the same amount of damage and also have that long range ability. So I think they're maybe just caught a little bit in that, you know, Junkrat is really good still, but I think Hanzo is just the better play here.
And Massey is on the Hanzo now here, and you do have Danet on the Hanzo on the other side, so it will be double snipers for both of these teams, as Twals is very close to losing the mech, and does so here. Massey with those storm arrows, able to take them out of the mech, but still pushing forward is the side of Augmented Authority here. Massey, though, able to get that Twals out of mech and take them out, so it's going to be a bit of a regroup here for Augmented Authority, as so far so good for Massey as we've been seeing it. He's doing just fine on the Hanzo.
Yeah, we see the Hanzo pick pay dividends almost immediately. They're able to storm arrow that Diva mech down all the way, but the pick onto way fast there is going to be huge. It has to be rezzed here, and they're going to try and push a little bit here, Augmented Authority.
And now using those storm arrows again is Massey looking for a kill. Oh, way fast! Oh, what a shot! As that should be the one that'll seal this for Augmented Authority. They just have to take out the couple of stragglers that are left.
Well, I mean, it's really good that Way Fast is playing, isn't it? Because that shot was absolutely crazy, and they're able to just snowball that point. And we talked about the Widow v Widow battle. Adi was not able to keep Way Fast in check there, and he was able to take down, Massey, a huge damage dealer on the part of Team Birdbrains, and get him down. And now they're going to look to try and snowball this to the second point here. So great job there, understanding that, we got this pick. Now we can just roll and get the other picks, and maybe we can take the second point very quickly as well.
We'll see if that ends up being the case here. You do have Massey with the Dragon Strike, and then you had Danet with it as quickly senses out, sort of cutting off the rest of Birb Bois. He's flying up into the airs to walls, has the self-destruct up, maybe was going to throw it there, trying to use that maybe in conjunction with the Dragon Strike, but now you're going to have Baneless come onto the point, but Danet able to take out Massey. Now the self-destruct comes out, and it gets Venara as they're cleaning up. Venara does manage to get Midna, but that's going to be a res here for Jofi, so this is a good start here. Danet just using those storm arrows, just trying to take Addy, or at least forcing him away. Already 2 ticks down on the point. They got a huge time bank too if they get this.
Gosh.
And not able to get back was Addy, is Way Fast taking him out, so they have 5:43 on the clock. That's a huge time bank, Kenobi.
What I really like there from the side of Team Augmented Authority, I really like that they understood that we don't have to roll this immediately. We can just play just a little bit safe. They took those 15 seconds at the start of the fight there, where they're like, okay, we just need to make sure we're all ready, because some teams will just run in with all their ultimates, and that's where Volskaya point B is where defenses go to die. So I really like that I saw them wait and just layer their ultimates a little bit. The Dragon Strike came out to zone them off, and then Danet was able to get into the backline again and do so much damage off of this Hanzo. So the snipers here from Augmented Authority really proving their worth in this matchup. And
they seem to really enable each other too, because Way Fast just able to create so much space for Danet. I mean, it's not even to mention that their tanks, what their tanks are doing. I mean, Twalza and Midna, I think you have to give credit to them too as well for enabling what these snipers are able to do, right?
Yeah, and that's the best part about tank play, is that you're just making so much space for the backline. And Way Fast has been winning this battle with Adi as well, and Danet just is being Danet, is absolutely destroying the other Hanzo on the other side, and it just proves how powerful. If you get rolling with double sniper, it's absolutely it's very difficult to stop the bleeding, right? Because they're just, at that point, it's just a shooting gallery into the back line. We saw there at the end a little bit, Way Fast just able to pick off person after person, trickling back onto the point. So it just proves how powerful double sniper is coming out from Authority.
And when you're somebody who's playing one of those sniper roles, it's sort of like somebody playing offense in a sport where, you get on that role, it's very hard to stop somebody. There's obviously this momentum change when you switch sides, but if they can carry this over, it's going to be real tough. Adi is on the Tracer here, Kenobi. Tell me about this. This seems to me maybe their answer to what they've been seeing with the double sniper.
Yeah, this is going to be interesting, because Adi is going to have to maybe just go to the backline and try to harass the best he can. Definitely don't go after Danet if you're the Tracer, because that's really bad. But if he can get onto Way Fast and maybe just make him uncomfortable, doesn't matter. Way Fast is going to kill Massey anyways. It looks like Adi is flanking just around to the back. He's going to try and get the Zenyatta, so he's going to just be in the back here trying to get this Zenyatta. Not sure when he's going to decide to strike here.
The rest of his team looks like they're falling down. I don't know if he's just going to wait for this fight to end. Oh, but he's been found by Cass, so he's no longer going to be able to be sneaky in behind. He's going to have to go regroup with his team, and Addy will end up falling here. So very tough first go of it for the side of Birb Bois, but we know that that's the same thing that happened for Augmented Authority.
Yeah, so I'm just gonna say I don't like this Tracer. I don't like the way they played that Tracer pick. You know, if you're Adi there's a point where you just have to go in. You know, you can't be complacent just sitting there in the back line, because we saw Adi just sitting there, you know, thinking, should I go in, should I go in? And if you're a Tracer player, you need to just start going and making your presence felt, because if you're just sitting there in the back line, you're not gaining ult charge, you're just kind of just there. So I would like to see Adi just go in and try and make, you know, this back line more uncomfortable than they have been.
Well, Wayfast has kind of been privy to what's happening here and is putting pressure onto Adi. So now there's sort of this battle going on. So you have the Widowmaker protecting, and now you have the other supports falling back. So Adi has to regroup with the rest of the team here as they have to try to make this a team effort. Massey able to get Wayfast, so they do have the Widow out of the picture. Midna, though, got Watt 7, so no main tank. Dragon Strike here, not going to get anything though, and Jofi's able to get the res and get the Widow back in here for Wayfast. So this is going to be a tough fight here for Birb Bois. Wayfast just dealing the damage out, and this is going to have to be another regroup eventually for Birb Bois, as they're kind of in a weird position. And Vaneless uses the Transcendence here, and then they lose Misher, so it's a super tough spot to be in.
Great play there from Mina and Tools to get that Transcendence off of that Zenyatta. So they're not gonna have it for the next fight, and Adi's gonna have this Pulse Bomb. So this has to be an absolutely huge Pulse Bomb, because it's taken Adi so long to farm it, and if he's not able to get a stick with this or a pick, it's going to be a complete waste of time. As Wayfast gets the pick on the Vaneless to start this fight already. He's going off LoBosco.
Wayfast with 2. Misher getting the res off here, but is it gonna matter? Question. Wayfast also with the infrared sight that can be used here whenever, and you know, they do have some ultimates though. Kenobi on the side of Birb Bois, there is a chance.
Yeah, and Adi's gonna, you know, forego the Pulse Bomb. I like that he's being decisive and getting off of this Tracer. It was just not working, and someone has to, you know, deal with Wayfast in this backline. If Adi can get this pick, it could be absolutely huge for them. So they're going double sniper themselves, and they're gonna try and, you know, have that momentum themselves. The Dragon Strike gets eaten there.
So big eat on the Dragon Strike of Danid. He's been using those a lot. Doesn't get any value out of it this time. As Venara will throw the self-destruct on. Vaneless does get Wayfast at the very least. Transcendence out here, though, for the defense to try and keep everybody up. Vaneless, though, gets to walls as well. So right now, it's the Zenyatta and the Diva doing the work. Hadi now making the presence felt. There's space to be made, and now they will finally take this point, but they lost a lot of time on the clock. They're down to 40 seconds.
Yeah, and, you know, Vaneless there at the end is saying, you know, I'm sick of my snipers not killing Wayfast. I'm just going to do it myself. Is able to get the clicks that he needs onto her to get her down. And, you know, after that, it's very hard. He was not in a resable position, was Wayfast, so wasn't able to get back into the fight. And, you know, I really wish they would have switched to this double sniper sooner. I mean, we saw the Tracer just was not working, wasn't able to do too much. But now, you know, they switched to this double sniper and they get the point very quickly. So maybe they just need to keep playing mono e mono here is the goal if you're on the side of Birb Rings.
Massey scouting out there with the Sonic Arrow, looking for a place to use the Dragon Strike. You also have the Valkyrie that's up as well, and Vaneless has Transcendence again, so already built that up quick. As now comes out the Dragon Strike, it's going to at least force off part of the team. Danid using the Dragon Strike encounter, but neither side really gets anything out of it. But Wayfast gets Adi, who switched to the Tracer, so now Wayfast the one on the Tracer here. Misher has to res Adi, but Tawal's able to get Watt 7 in that time. So it looks like it's going to be another pushback here happening by Augmented Authority, as Birb Bois will have to regroup. Oh, but they get a couple of picks here. They have a chance.
Yeah, they have a couple of picks. They do have 5 people, but they need to be very careful of Wayfast in this backline. As we've shown so far, he is a great player. The self-destruct's going to come out, not able to get anyone, but it does force the self-destruct coming out from the other side. But Massey gets Wayfast. Massey's popping off as well.
Massey now using the Dragon Strike here, see if it gets anything for him. Doesn't matter, he's doing the work needed to by himself. Venara able to get Jofi as well. Cass is one of the few left. Cass quickly taken out as Massey has gone up here. Here's their chance. Tawal's one of the only ones left, trying to wait here to regroup with the rest of his team. Goes in for the stall now. Jofi coming back in as well, trying to heal, but nobody gets onto the point. They have to get back here to try and keep those staggers coming in longer. Danid has switched to Doomfist here in response, so maybe a chance here. Adi able to get one though, but Danid continuing to find kills as Doomfist.
Yeah, the Doomfist is coming out and it's showing his prevalence here, as it looks like they still haven't gotten that second tick. LoBosco. Danid's just wrecking havoc in this backline right now. They're all dead, and he's gonna come back to the point and try and kill everyone else. Wayfast and Danid right now absolutely going off.
They switched over to Tracer and a Doomfist, and it worked there. Do they stick with these, or do they now make the switches back now that they've got the stagger over with?
I think if you're Daned, you could possibly switch here if you so desired, but you do have that meteor strike available to you, so you might just want to, for that next fight, keep it. It seems to have been working so far as he's getting into the back line and killing the double sniper and killing the supports and doing a great job there. So if they're able to get a couple of picks with this Doomfist, I say keep it.
Well, they are keeping it, and Wayfast has switched over to the Zarya. Transcendence out here by Vaneless, and now the self-destruct onto the point as Midna able to get Vaneless here. Don't know if that charge did or not, but it doesn't matter right now because Danit's still doing the work needed. He does get Massey, and now he's going to use the Meteor Strike here onto Venara. Venara just able to escape away, though. Not going to get chased down. Well, maybe, as coming in is Danit on the Doomfist, and they chase him down.
Dude, Danit is absolutely showing us that he can play whatever he wants, but Midna there, really being a hero, was able to charge Vaneless in Transcendence off of the map, getting all of that healing gone, understanding that, I can be sacrificed, I have the respawn advantage, and I get this Transcendence away, so it looks like they are going to be able to hold again. Danit sticking tried and true to this Doomfist. If it ain't broke, LoBosco, don't fix it.
And they almost have Wayfast up to a Graviton Surge as well. So if Danit can build up quickly, they might be able to combo those two ultimates together. Out comes the Dragon Strike from the side of Birb Bois as they go in, but Danit and Wayfast doing everything off of that great Earth Shatter from Midna as they clean up everybody here with 46 seconds left to go.
Birb Bois is absolutely shook on. They do not know how to deal with Danit right now. He's just getting into the back line, soloing Hanzo of all people. Massey just isn't able to get anything going with these attacks as Danit is just hard focusing him out of these fights. So great play from them here, and Danit almost has a Meteor Strike. We might see finally the Space Jam combo. Oh, just not, but the self-destruct is good enough.
Danit still getting kills in there anyways, and now has the Meteor Strike is now and is going to use it to see where he decides to drop on. It doesn't really matter. His team is just cleaning up with 8 seconds left. I don't think anybody's going to go back. I think this is going to be a 2-1 lead here for Augmented Authority as they're pushing forward to make sure that nobody can, as now the time goes out and it's 2-1 now in favor of Augmented Authority.
Augmented Authority showing us, they can play whatever, man. If you want to play double sniper, we'll play double sniper. If you want to play, bust out the Doomfist, a character we don't see too often, we can bust out the Doomfist too, showing their flex muscles a little bit here. And I'm really liking the play I'm seeing from them. And I honestly just have to question a little bit that Tracer pick, harping back a little bit to that. I mean, it just didn't do anything. And Tracer is such a hard time in this meta already. And, trying to deal with something like a Zenyatta or a Hanzo is it's a huge task if you're not getting those one clips off the bat, because they do have a lot of defense abilities, and Zen Discord headshot is going to kill the Tracers. So I really would have liked to have seen Birb Bois maybe switch over to that double sniper just a little bit sooner.
You have to give a lot of credit though to Augmented Authority
Definitely.
here, Kenobi. I mean, they have just completely have dominated, and they're making whatever comps that they end up using really work. So when looking at this one, as we move on into our next map, which is going to be Blizzard World here, what has to happen for the side of Birb Bois? Because the last two maps have really been all about the side of Augmented Authority.
I think, honestly, you just keep trying to play this 1v1 game, because we saw, there were little hints of the DPS being able to outduel the snipers, coming out from Augmented Authority. They were able to get a couple of picks there on that first point that they got the Volskaya point. So I really would like to see them, maybe just take that double sniper duel. It can work. We've seen Adi does have some good choices, but man, it might be, it's kind of hard because you are in that position where do we run full dive? Do we just try and counter the double sniper? It's a very chess match type of situation here with this mindset.
How much does it change with Blizzard World? Does it change at all? I mean, double sniper is still kind of the go-to, right?
Yeah, I think double sniper is probably. We definitely are going to see Widow, because Widow on this map, you just have all these great sight lines. It's kind of like a shooting gallery-esque where you just, you have those great long sight lines for Widow. She loves having those because you're able to just click on those heads. You get a lot of good vision and got a lot of good recon possibility. And Hanzo just is Hanzo in this meta. So I definitely think you can bust out the double sniper again, but you can also bust out, Brigitte, Ryan, Zarya that we sometimes see as well. So I think it's going to be interesting what these two teams are going to be bringing out here.
Yeah, and I think the other thing too is, I mean, this is another map where nothing is really assured. I feel like Blizzard World is one of those maps that really teams are still trying to figure out. I know that the map's been out for a little bit now, but with how much the meta has shifted recently, it's kind of still up in the air. Addy here going to be on the Hanzo. Massey is going to be on the Brigetta as far as the attacking team goes, as the teams have switched sides here as well. So Birb Bois now attacking first, and this looks like they're going to get jumped here as Augmented Authority sneaking in behind. Dan gets on here.
He didn't stand a chance. I mean, he just walked in. He was probably thinking, oh, where is everyone? And then they just find him around the corner. Adi's going to go down, and it's just going to be a bloodbath in this little room here. We usually don't see fights taken here too often, but it looks like Augmented Authority is going to take this win here. Poor Adi, man. He was just not expecting that.
And the one thing that we thought we might see too, or at least we might see it later on, no Widow, but you do have a Hanzo out there and Adi, and like you said, Adi just kind of bullied there by Danon, who's playing on that Brigetta.
Yeah, and you know, it looks like they're gonna give up a little bit of space here and just rush in here with this Lucio. So they're just gonna try and go in here. The bubble is gonna come on the Midna, and it looks like they're just gonna have an absolute brawl here. Tools is gonna get Watch 7. That's a huge pick. The Reinhardt is down. That's no shielding.
Way fast now, following up behind it, getting 2 more as well. Midna already to the great ultimate in the Earth Shatter too. So Midna getting all that damage out. By the way, almost the Graviton Surge too. They're very close to having almost all their ultimates. Venara is able to get close to a Graviton Surge on the other side and the Dragon Strike, so they do have that combo coming up. But there is, of course, that Transcendence that can heal through it.
This is really cool. Danon is playing is peeking out just a little bit. The huge Earth Shatter comes. Danon was peeking out to try and bait him, and Midna's just gonna swing his hammer and kill everybody. They're in the heads of Birb Brains right now. Augmented Authority. They don't know what to do if you're on the side of Birb Boys. I mean, they're just absolutely shook right now. The mind games are coming tried and true right now for the side of Augmented Authority.
Birb Boys regrouping now. They have still a couple of ultimates to work with here. They have the Graviton Surge almost up for way fast here. Tawalza and Cass having their ults up as well. We'll see what happens though, because a lot of ultimates on the other side here. Massey hasn't used the rally yet as they now come around towards the point here for this next fight, as now Wayfast uses the Graviton Surge here as the self-destruct comes out. The charge in allows for 2 to get taken out. Wayfast and Danon following up afterwards, so another great play. The charge by Midna into the Reinhardt takes out everybody else, and now we get to see it again here, Kenobi.
Yeah, we get to see again here, you know, this huge Dragon Strike combo that we keep seeing all the time, and you know, I think it's a good idea. I think it's a good idea on the side of Birb Brains there that they were able to get through that push. You know, take a little bit of the ultimates away there from the side of Augmented Authority, and you know, they have 5 on their side, are gonna have the rally too, so they have their own Graviton Strike combo, and it's huge. It gets a bunch of people here.
Strike comes out, but they're not able to get anybody. There was the Transcendence that was able. So they had the sound barrier on top of it as well. So even if you get that extra damage on top, nobody taken out. Addy able to get to walls though out of mech. Midna going down though with the Earth Shatter here from Watt 7, as now his team finally getting the chance here. Cass, one of the few left, just trying to stall as long as possible. They do get it down to 35 seconds. So a lot of time taken off the clock.
Yeah, and that just shows, you know, the power of the, you know, ultimates in this game. You're able to just pump out so much damage. They didn't get any kills off of the Dragon Strike Graviton Surge combo, but they were just able to do a lot of follow-up damage, you know, make that fight just a little bit of a mess, and they were able to win out the brawl there. But they had to use everything for that LoBosco, and Midna does have this Earth Shatter, but for now we're just going to be playing a little bit of vanilla.
The cart moves through that first choke here. Danon able to get Massey at the start as the Dragon Strike comes through from Addy. So not too bad for the attacking side, but players get taken down by the Earth Shatter here. Not much follow-up, but Cass able to get Watt 7, so the main tank gone. So this should at least slow things down a little bit here, although dropping back because they know they're at a little bit of a disadvantage due to the spawn is the rest of the side of Augmented Authority.
And Adi's just going to be up here trying to do a little bit of damage, as the rally is going to come out, so they're going to have a lot of armor for this next fight. Danon not that close to it, only at 60%, so the armor battle is in the favor right now of Birb Bois. They can walk through, you know, play a little bit more aggressive than they usually would.
Well, the team being aggressive right now is Augmented Authority. They get pulled in to a Graviton Surge, but the Transcendence comes out. Now the counter Graviton Surge Dragon Strike in Earth Shatter here too as well, as it's able to get Midna down, but Watch 7 couldn't finish him down. Now the counter Shatter gets 3 as they can't follow up behind it though. Minara able to get Midna out of this fight, so this card's gonna start moving here again.
I guess these teams just really want to play vanilla Overwatch. None of the, the CC ultimates had any follow-up in that last fight. It was just, okay, we're going to Graviton you, no follow-up. Then we're going to Graviton you, no follow-up. Shatter, no follow-up. So these two teams probably just want to, play a little bit of vanilla Overwatch. Another rally coming out from Massey. She just used it.
Of course, that card very close to that point has switched as well as one of the more recent updates in memory for some, as the sound barrier comes out here as well. Watch 7 able to take out into walls though, and Cass doing the work needed for the defense, but they caught it a Graviton Surge, as here's the chance here, but the Graviton, the Dragon Strike gets in, so the Graviton doesn't get anything out of it. Transcendence now used here instead, as they're going to be able to stabilize the defense.
Tools, the absolute hero. They're eating the Dragon Strike. That was definitely a point B take and a triple kill for the side of Birbrains if that was able to go through. So an absolutely huge eat on that Dragon Strike. Tools, the hero, as I said before. And this is probably their last fight here. Adi's going to switch over to a Mei here. Interesting pick.
See what they decide to do with the Mei. So Adi on the Mei now, they're starting to move forward. They're going to come around, it looks like, through the little room there nearby where that cart goes, as now they get back onto the cart. Rally comes out here, but into the Graviton Surge after the Earth Shatter self-destruct up high into the air. The rest of the team falling, though, and then the counter Shatter doesn't matter. Nobody was left. Overtime down, and they're going to stop short here. Transcendence coming back, but he's charged away. He can't get to the carts, as he's getting booped away, was Veinless. So just short of that first point of the cart push is where it stops for Birb Bois, as now Augmented Authority a chance to win here outright, Kenobi.
Yeah, Tuzo might have actually, saved this game and saved this series for the side of Team Augmented Authority. I know they are up 2-1, but Tools there eating that. I can't stress enough how huge it was that he ate that Dragon Strike. It was going to be a triple kill for Adi, and they might have been able to push that all the way to that point B and maybe snowball. But, we do see this Diva coming into prevalence here. Defense Matrix still a huge ability if played correctly, as we saw there. So definitely want to shout out to Tools there for that eat on the Graviton, or for that eat on the Dragon Strike rather. And also, LoBosco, something we didn't mention, Augmented Authority did all of that without a true DPS on the team.
Yes, they definitely did, and that just shows you, though, how important it is that, or how, not how important, but how well that these comps without DPS players can go. As far as the comps that you create, you don't need a DPS character out there to win a fight, and that's what they did. But they're going to go with DPS players now. Danid and Wayfast going on to that dual sniper again. You do see Adi on it as well, but Massey on the Junkrat again.
Yes, so this is going to be interesting to see how this Junkrat is going to be played out. Massey has to play just a little bit careful against this double sniper. Can't really, peek too much. Is going to have to do some long range damage. Hope that those grenades are bouncing correctly. So it's not really up to Massey at this point whether the double sniper is going to be countered or not. I really wish I would see double sniper coming out from the side of Team Birbrains. I think you have, you've played it before, and Massey has shown that that he is a good Hanzo, so definitely would have preferred to have seen that, but this could definitely work if Massey is able to play huge here.
We'll find out as the doors are about to open here on Blizzard World for this attack of Augmented Authority, as they look to try and advance to the second round here of the Open Division, as they will await the winner of the 1 and 16 seeds chance to try and get into EU contenders on the line, if they can get into contenders trials, if they get high enough in this playoff series. Massey, though, taking Cass here out of the way first, and of course, we do have the losers bracket to mention as well. So whoever ends up losing here, they're not quite done yet, as that defense set up behind, and so far so good.
A very good start from Massey there, getting that kill on the Zenyatta. It's going to stop Augmented Authority's push just a little bit here. And the grenades are raining down, but they're not finding their marks just quite yet. But Massey does have 61% to that ultimate, and they are scouted out on the left side by the Diva, but the Diva might be going down here. That's a huge pick, LoBosco.
Very good pick, Danid. Midna getting the eliminations that they need here at the very start, as they're now coming around on this right side. Midna gets caught in the trap, though. See if they can use it for anything. Not able to get the barrier down, but Midna gets flown up high into the air, comes charging in, just missed. hits the pole and doesn't find anybody. This has ended up turning into kind of an odd fight. Everything is kind of scattered here. Maxi and Danid both getting killed, so it's still very even here, but now it's starting to turn blue. So the team in Augmented Authority starting to impose their will, as now they just have the Diva in Venaro, can't get away. So they will now take this point and start pushing. A lot of time on the clock for the side of Augmented Authority as they look to move on.
It was just a very unlucky there from Renanra on that Diva. You know, tried to go scout out the left room, but was just met with everyone there. Wasn't able to get out in time, and you know, after that pick, it was a 5v6, and it was very difficult for the side of Team Birb Bois to hold here. But they unfortunately they are making a lot of switches and aren't going to have those ultimate abilities for themselves.
And they're going to get hit by the Earth Shatter into the Dragon Strike. That was planned out for sure, as you had behind Danid, as they're now going to get this cart moving again. Hattie does have a Dragon Strike for this next fight, but a team kill is going to give a lot of time for that cart to move forward, and they're almost halfway to victory.
Yeah, I'm not sure essentially what that was. I guess it was just a push, you know, maybe just catch them off guard, run at them with the Brigitte, Reinhardt, and, you know, combo and try and do some damage, but it was just countered beautifully, rather, by Midna with that Earth Shatter, and the Dragon Strike coming out from Danad was able to follow up. So it looks like they're just going to try and fight the big good fight, as Wayfast is going to get Massey. That's a huge pick.
Very good pick at the start, and they completely wipe with that Graviton Surge, and Senate's helped heal everybody up. That team kill might be enough to get them this point here as well. We'll see if anybody can get back in time. Hattie making the switch here to the Mei. They're looking for the stall tactics already, but they're not going to be able to get back here. It's going to be a win. Augmented Authority is going to go on to round 2, and down to the loser brackets will be Birb Bois, as these teams still have a bit of a ways to go to figure out what will happen in this one. But you have to give credit to Augmented Authority. They won this one outright and did a great job there at the end.
Yeah, Augmented Authority, as we're gonna see the flanking Reinhardt here get a huge Earth Shatter, and Midna has been absolutely stellar so far during this series. Really good tank play. We were focusing a lot on the double sniper coming out from Augmented Authority, but Midna has been absolutely incredible as well here. 11 Earth Shatter kills to 15 Earth Shatter stuns. That's some pretty good numbers there, LoBosco.
It's definitely some incredible numbers, and it's been an incredible game here. Augmented Authority, after that first map, really imposed their will, Kenobi, and really made themselves known as they're moving on now to the second round here in the winner's bracket.
Yeah, and you know, it's not over, as you mentioned, for Bird Brains. They definitely do have that losers bracket run that they could make as well. But you know, if you're on the side of Augmented Authority, you're definitely happy that you're moving on. You get to face the winner of the 1 versus 16. So the road's not over for you yet. You still have a far way to go. But we have seen if they keep playing this double sniper, I think Augmented Authority has a really good chance of making some waves in this bracket.
And they were the higher seed here, is something to mention as well. So they're going to drop down into that losers bracket. But Kenobi, it's been a great way to start off this EU Open Division playoffs match that we had here. Always a pleasure to work with you, my friend. I look forward to the rest that we've got going on. But it's enough of us. It's time to send it back to Boop and Ham, as they're going to break it down and get us ready for our second round matchup, whatever that may be. Well, at least this one they're going to recap and sort of kind of get us ready. So Boop, Ham, take it away.
Thank you so much, Kenobi and LoBosco. Great cast. It was wonderful listening to you. And by the way, LoBosco, one of these days, you're going to have to sing. Just going to put that out there. But going back to Overwatch, we're going to talk about Volskaya between Augmented Authority and Birb Bois. So there are a lot of things that happened in Volskaya, but one thing that we wanted to point out was the quick take by Augmented Authority on the first offensive push. So point B, in a blink of an eye.
Yeah, no, don't blink, kids. Don't go to the bathroom. No bio breaks for you. No water. You sit here, you watch this Overwatch, because Augmented Authority took that with 6 minutes left in the time bank, and that is not something you see every day. I mean, they clearly understood the win conditions with the team composition that they were running. We saw Wayfast on that Widowmaker, Danon sticking with that Hanzo, and man alive, that guy, he's like on a boat. He's just always circling the enemy team. You never know where he's going to be. It's probably not in the front, because that was basically how they played that. I mean, you had Wayfast being that long distance damage, so a constant threat. the defense is like, okay, do we send people to go and take care of Wayfast? No, we have to take care of Danid, who always has his Mercy in his back pockets, flanking on like the high ground, shooting down on top of your heads while you're deciding whether or not you want to invest resources to dive the backline. And in the meantime, you also have to deal with Midna and Twals, who are, wrecking your own support line. It's, it was.
So we're not done talking about Dana just yet, because I think it would be terrible of us if we did not talk about a character called Doomfist.
I've heard of this guy.
Yeah. So he made a last second change to Doomfist and just popped off and finished the map on a Doomfist. How did that make you feel?
Oh no, rip open that plastic bag, 2 minutes, 45 seconds. It was popcorn central. Insane. Danit was, Boop and I were like, oh no, maybe they lost this defense. We're going to be going to like extra innings or something. Okay, we're like preparing our bodies. Surprise! Suddenly Doomfist central. Nobody expects the sudden Doomfist. Well, actually you do, but what you don't expect is the Doomfist to dive all the way into the back line, one shot the enemy Zen, come back. I mean, it's kind of a testament to how much respect that Birb Bois afforded Danid. The fact that he, as a single Doomfist, came out of spawn, dove back, and they just all left the objective. They all left the objective to go and try and kill him. It was like a 1v5. And they're like, no, we have to like send the tanks, Dane getting very high value kills, supports constantly going after supports. You know how hard it is to punch a Mercy out of the air? It's like hitting a fly with a slingshot. It's very impressive.
Well, so I think he got 4 kills, stopped a res.
Yeah, he stopped
then
the res
ulted,
too. That was
and then did it all over again after that. But now we're going to move on to Blizzard World, which was over just as fast as what it felt like. One thing that you really wanted to touch on was Augmented Authority's tank line, specifically Twals.
Yeah, so Twals and Midna, of course, are kind of that like, peanut butter and jelly, a perfect combo. They seem to really be like aware of each other's position constantly. And when you have a tank line who has that much synergy together and you put in behind them as powerful of a DPS lineup as Wayfast and Danid, that, always gives you the inside good, positive, warm fuzzies to dive in there and wreck some butts. So that was kind of what we saw very often from Twals in particular. I mean, this is a guy we know his off-tank play is stellar, not just that vanilla play, that positional awareness, but also big diva bombs. We saw kind of one of them to open up Blizzard World. The positioning is always really good. The bombs are always really clutch. Unfortunate that we didn't quite see, the same kind of popping off from Venonra and Watt7, who are also 2 really great players. I mean, we've seen them here at Broadcast.gg. Boop and I personally have also seen them great players. But, today was just a little bit of a quiet day for them, I think. DPS also a little bit quiet, though. Something I definitely do want to point out for Birb Bois, though, their support lineup very solid.
Yeah, I was actually just going to ask you, what is something that Birb Bois can build upon? So if you guys don't know, this is a double elimination bracket. So they are now down into the losers bracket. Augmented Authority has moved on to the second round of the winners bracket, which, you don't ever want to start off with that loss. But crazier things have happened. So what do Birb Bois need to build upon? What's working well? And what do they need to adjust to try to make it through the entirety of the losers bracket?
Punching fists ready, kids. I mean, Vaneless, certainly a very bright spot on the Birb Bois lineup. I mean, we saw him opening up on Oasis University. Huge nades. I mean, he like single-handedly one grabs, you just throw the nade and send your Rhine in there. Who needs a Dragon Strike when you got like a giant angry German man and granny juice, right? So, good sleep darts as well. I mean, we actually saw Vaneless on Zen, fragging out, getting those finishing blows. That's how Birb Bois kind of broke through on Blizzard World on their own point A take. And so, hey, maybe Vaneless could be somebody that you play around a little bit more, because give him a little bit more resource, a little bit more protection, because Danid had Vaneless's number that whole game. I mean, playing Zenyatta is basically just painting a big kill me Hanzo on your forehead. And so, maybe if Birb Bois is able to, protect their support line a little bit better. I think something else, maybe in a more macro sense, would be Birb Bois just getting a little bit more comfortable with kind of these variation of compositions, I think. They clearly have, their maybe a preferred composition that they like. We often saw Massey on a Junkrat, which is a little bit unusual these days, but can still work. Where it fell apart, though, was maybe they had good execution. I mean, they certainly have a lot of individual mechanical skill. We know all these players are incredibly skilled, but it seemed that every time Birb Bois engaged, they weren't really sure who they were trying to kill. They're just dumping ultimates and, hoping that one of them landed, throwing the spaghetti, right? And sometimes it stuck, but sometimes it fell off the wall and left a mess on the floor, and then you got to clean it up.
Yeah, and I think the word that we were talking about during these games is they were pretty apprehensive, unless they were using all of their ults at once. And let's talk about that a little bit too. Something else that I noticed is just the ult economy usage on Birb Bois could have been better. Can you explain to us how it could have been better, and again, how they can move on from this in terms of ult economy to try to make it through that bracket?
Yeah, so you bring up a good point, Boop. We saw oftentimes that Birb Bois would have the advantage in terms of, how many ultimates they had at the ready. It was, the order of operations, whether or not they got a lot of value from any of those ults. Augmented Authority, we're always seeing like that 6k Dragon Surge on Oasis. They're always trying to see like how can we get the biggest bang for our buck? Yeah. Whereas Birb Bois were a little bit, kind of just tossing them out a little bit. Could be, maybe miscomms between the tank line, DPS line. People aren't really sure where they are, or, somebody's like, Dan is in the back, oh no, And like, yeah, so definitely would be something to look at more from this team moving forward. So it's just those small pieces of polish that I think could really help them, go a lot further.
Cool. And now for Augmented Authority, winners bracket, feeling good. Got that first round win. What is something that they should look for, before they get into their second round and try to improve upon that? More of the same.
I'll take one win, please. Thank you. Take another win, yes.
It's that easy.
Yeah, I know. You just got to win, man. I don't know.
Overwatch Open Division. Yeah. Just say it.
Just win. Yeah, so I mean, I think they played very well. Perhaps the biggest thing would be maybe to dial back the hubris. Maybe hubris is a little bit too harsh, but we saw Birb Bois play really well, a very close game on Oasis, and they took that game deservedly so. I mean, you can say unforced errors or C9s or whatever, but they saw that opportunity, they capitalized. Augmented Authority gave it to them, and that's something that, as they continue to move on, teams, get more footage, more VODs, they know how they play. That's somewhere where we can hopefully see a little bit of a tightening up. Make sure that your fortress is, 100% covered in concrete, no weaknesses. Yeah.
Man, I wish I had a fortress.
Oh, I mean, we're kind of in a fortress right now.
Yeah,
we're
exactly.
in the casting bunker.
The casting bunker 2018, the Koala Gaming Arena. All right, guys, so that is it for our first round game, our opening game for the Open Division for Europe. We do have another game coming up, which is Coli Siestu.
A gentleman's B+. I don't know.
Versus 1 Point, which is going to be a hype matchup.
So
we're going to have a couple new casters for you, but then Ham and I are going to be back to be on the desk for the next segment here. So just to review what just happened, Augmented Authority won the series 3-1, continuing through the winners bracket. Birb Bois dropping down, but it's not over yet. But we're going to take a quick break. We'll be back with a new game, some new talent, but Ham and I are going to come right back as well. See you guys soon.